Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of What Cause Inspires You. I'm your host, Jasleen Mann, and I'm joined by our guest, Charlotte Gould. Alicia Gupta, a Humanity Rising ambassador, launched the What Cause Inspires You podcast as a way for students to share the service they are doing in their communities. We encourage youth, such as Charlotte, to speak up about their stories and inspire others. Charlotte Gould is a rising senior from Tempe, Arizona, and the founder of Stitches by Charlotte. She loves to read, bake, and most important to today's discussion, sew. She is inspired by the cause of smiles, specifically normalizing the surgeries and scars that result from cleft palates and other medical issues. So, Charlotte, could you tell us why smiles are your passion?
Of course. So I was born with a cleft lip and palate, and for those who don't know what that is, I was born with a gap in the skin of my top lip and then without the roof of my mouth. So I've had numerous surgeries and medical procedures throughout my childhood to create the smile that I have today. And so I find smiles just so important. They are like a universal language, and there's so much that you can say just with a smile. And so I really am impassioned by creating smile representation and seeing all kinds of smiles represented equally.
Yeah, I think it's great that you took your own personal experience and decided to use that to help others rather than shying away from it. I think that's something that if a lot of us did, it'd be a lot of a better world. So that's great. So a huge step you've taken to address your cause and passion is starting your organization, Stitches by Charlotte. So could you tell us the goals of your organization?
Yeah, of course. So, my company, Stitches by Charlotte, sews and provides surgery companion dolls for children facing surgeries and medical procedures. And so, the main cause behind it, what started it, is that having something to hold on to during a surgery is just a really big thing because you're taken away from your parents. You're in a place that you don't know and you're not comfortable with. And there's a lot of fear surrounding it, especially for me. And so I had a teddy bear that I would hold going through into my surgeries. And when I got a sewing machine for Christmas when I turned 7, one of the first things that I made was a doll that looked just like me. And I brought her with me into my surgery. So I have her here. So
Wow.
it's like a little me. She's made out of my baby clothes. So she's wearing one of my old outfits. And she had a cleft scar on her lip. And so the first thing is just really to help kids be brave in surgeries. And then my dolls each come with a kid-friendly sewing kit. So kids are able to add stitches to their doll to match and honor their surgeries. And so it helps to normalize the scar and helps kids to understand why that scar is there and where it came from. And so we see parents adding the stitches, little sister, big brother, even the doctor and the nurse. We've seen photos of a surgeon still in their OR scrubs adding
Oh,
stitches to a
wow.
doll. And so that just helps to normalize those scars. And then we want to celebrate the courage of each child and keeping those kids understanding that they are so special because of this. And this isn't something to hide, it's something to celebrate.
Yeah. And you kind of mentioned this, but so how do you exactly accomplish those goals from those services that you offer?
Yeah, so being able to hold something tangible and something that looks like you is super important. And then I have one of my dolls. So here's the sewing kit. And so it comes with a little letter from me on the inside and then um, little kid-friendly needles so it doesn't puncture skin and some
Okay.
embroidery floss and then little steps on how to add stitches to your doll if you don't know how to sew or have any experience like that. And then just being able to share kids' stories through my platform and then encouraging them to share their own is a great way to boost representation and just celebrate their courage.
Yeah, I think that you utilizing making dolls for your organization is really it's really accomplishes your goals because obviously in childhood we use dolls are something that we cling on to. They're like a symbol of comfort. So having that obviously to go into surgery, but also as a friend that has the same scars as you do, it's definitely something beneficial for kids to have.
Mm-hmm.
So, could you tell us why it is so important to normalize scars and make surgeries a more comfortable topic for children?
So, growing up, I didn't have a great role model who was born with a cleft lip. I didn't meet anybody with a cleft until I was 9 or 10 years old. And so I only saw people with clefts or with scars as the villains in movies or TV shows or books. They weren't really the heroes. And so I was always trying to reconcile that idea of loving my cleft and then not seeing anybody else in the world who loved theirs. And so I decided to become kind of that person to other people and showing that the journey that they are on, I've gone through and I've lived. And so being able to share your story is the best way to connect with others and to normalize scars and stitches and special smiles, because growing up, and if it's normalized, then the world is going to be a better and more accepting place.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, that representation is so important. It doesn't go, it not only goes a long way in childhood, but also like when people grow up, it's just gonna foster more positive emotions around those topics. So in your case, you were able to combine a hobby that you enjoy sewing with your passion for smiles to make a meaningful impact in others' lives. Do you think that utilizing hobbies to create change is effective or makes creating change a little bit easier?
Yes, I totally think that it does. I think having a passion for something and this like fire underneath you to go out and solve a problem that you see and incorporate something that you love into it is just an incredible way to create positive change.
So, yeah, I definitely agree with that because if you have something that you're already like a baseline passionate about and you combine it with something that you want to make a difference in, it's going to make getting out there and doing what you love, like it's going to just create a much more positive emotions around the whole thing, which maybe will even drive you to make even more change and keep growing and doing things not like a chore. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, outside of your organization, what are some other actions you have taken to further change?
Yeah, so I started my business when I was 7 years old, and I'm 17 now. So I've been at it for quite a bit. But once I kind of grew up a little bit, I realized that the power my smile has. And so I decided to become a cleft advocate for kids like me. And so I've traveled across the country visiting children's hospitals to donate and deliver some of my dolls. And I've been lucky enough to have a doll in almost every US state and then in about 15 countries around the world, which I'm so in awe of that my story has resonated with so many people. And then I became an advocate for the ELSA bill, which is the Ensuring Lasting Smiles Act. And what ELSA does is it guarantees full and complete healthcare coverage for anyone born with a congenital abnormality like a cleft lip and palate. And so last summer, I got to travel to Washington, D.C. With the National Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasia and Operation Smile. And I got to speak to our country's lawmakers, our senators, our congressmen, and be able to connect with them and tell my story to help get this legislation passed, which was incredible. And then back home, I serve on my local hospital, Phoenix Children's. I serve on the Cleft and Craniofacial Care Center Philanthropic Advisory Council, which is quite a mouthful, but it is incredible to do that work. And then I am the president of the Phoenix Children's Hospital Teen Board.
Wow, okay. So, yeah, you're definitely making a lot of impact elsewhere too. Um, like you mentioned that you have like some done some advocacy work, right? So, has your voice allowed you to meet like like-minded peers and individuals?
Yes, I have made so many long-lasting friendships through advocacy, especially through cleft advocacy, being able to see other people who look just like me but are a little further ahead on the journey. When I was in DC, it was a group of us. There were about 12 to 15 of us, and I was the youngest at 16 then. But I got to see these 21-year-olds who are getting in to one of my really good friends. Erin just graduated at Northeastern University in Boston and is moving to Manhattan to be a dental assistant because she wants to be an orthodontist. And she has so many great things ahead of her. And so it's incredible to see that and to be able to connect with these people over shared experiences is amazing.
Yeah, I think that maybe something that's overlooked when people go into like starting like a passion project or anything is like the people you're going to meet on that journey, the people who have the same values and goals. And I think it's great to be surrounded by those kinds of people just to obviously get more ideas, but also kind of find your own community. So, what are your plans for the future?
So I'm starting my senior year in a month. And I'm very, very excited about that. But I'm planning to always stay an advocate and continue to tell my story to as many people as I can get to listen and be able to share and donate more of my dolls. I'm hoping to continue to advocate for the ELSA bill and then starting up as the president of the Phoenix Children's Hospital Teen Council. So we raise an incredible amount of money for underfunded programs within the hospital. So last year we raised about $42,000 for our parent and child's life programs for people who have unexpected hospital stays. So it's incredible to do that, and I'm so excited to move forward.
That's great. So, is there any advice you could give to students who want to make a difference in a cause they're passionate about, but they just don't know where to start?
I'd say the first thing is to find something you're passionate about and then find a challenge or a problem in the world that you have an idea how to solve. So for me, I was scared going into surgery. And so I made something that helped me so much, and you don't know how it'll affect the people around you. The reason my business grew is because I brought my little rag doll with me everywhere, and people were like, I want one of those for my son, my daughter, my niece, my cousin. They have this condition, they have to have a surgery. And it just grew that way. I started with $1 and now I've made over 500. And so find something that you are passionate about, that you love doing, and use that to solve a problem that you see.
Yeah, that's definitely passion is what we all like. That's what's going to drive us, make differences. So yeah, that's definitely good advice. So Charlotte, thank you so much for sharing your cause with us. Your journey and advice is truly inspirational. I think we can all learn a lot from your passion for your cause. So I just want to end off with for our listeners, be sure to follow our Instagram and Facebook pages to stay updated on our scholarship opportunities, future podcasts, and events. So thank you so much for joining us today. And
Thank you.
yeah, stay tuned for next time.